I think this is one of my favorite places to shoot in my house. I don't know why. I feel like it's just like a comfy place to talk. Hi everyone, and welcome to Nesting Story. Today's video, what is today's video? I have a lot I want to share. Thinking about a lot about Nesting Story. Oh, I'm totally exposing the fact that I have just got like leggings on underneath this outfit. I've been thinking a lot about Nesting Story and next chapter. And I felt like I wanted to just kind of shoot a video and share with you some stuff that I want to start talking about more on here, and just kind of like a reset a bit. So a year ago from now, I like had to really pivot what I was shooting and everything, because life was changing, but I wasn't sharing that with you. So I had to be really strategic about how I was sharing and what I was sharing and everything. And it's been very freeing these last couple months to really start just being more transparent. Not that I had to wait until the last couple months. It was really important for me to just kind of like let life find a groove first before I talk about anything. And it's honestly felt very good to start sharing more while maintaining privacy. That's felt really good. And so much has happened. So about a year and a half ago, I was like focusing on doing the coaching, which I'm doing occasionally here and there, but that's something I've kind of stopped doing as much. And I was doing interior design again. And then, so many things have happened that I didn't foresee coming. So so getting divorced was one thing, my marriage ending, and just like a whole dynamic switch has happened, which I did not see coming. And then a global pandemic. And it's been good for me. So since March, like kind of in March when the global pandemic happened, and everything kind of happened at once. It's like single mom, global pandemic all at once. And I needed to be able to just juggle all the plates. And I took some things off of my plate, like the interior design stuff and the coaching stuff, and just focused on my kids and myself and creating content. So now that we're down the road a bit, and now that school's back and everything, I've been really thinking about, and I'm gonna be sharing it November, but like I've got some fun stuff, exciting stuff work-wise that is coming down the pipeline, which is going to be really interesting and kind of, yeah, complement everything. But I've been thinking about what I want to create. And I've also even had, like, did any of you watch Social Dilemma? That documentary threw me through a loop. And it's hard because when I started this whole online journey, I started because so I actually started in 2013 when I had my own interior design company, and I was blogging about interior design. And then I had the twins, and when I was pregnant with the twins, like I couldn't really find a mom out there that like had a lot of kids and kind of kept her identity and just really inspired me. And I wanted all the details. And I mostly as a hobby started blogging and switched it over, and it really just took off from there. So it came from this place of like wanting to help other women, wanting to make sure that we don't lose ourselves in the process. And that's something that, despite what I share about home or parenting or fitness, it's always been this like underlying theme of what I like to share, and kind of what, no matter where my journey's gone, I feel like I have shoulder pads on, no matter where my journey's gone, that I've made sure that it kind of came back to that. I always circled back to the whole you don't need to lose yourself in motherhood or in relationships or anything. Like just kind of like hold on to you, and it's okay to reinvent yourself and start over. But like that whole kind of like identity thing, it's been just like this theme for me for, I think probably since like 2013 is when I really started to I think 2013 is when I just really started to kind of be like, I can be a good mom and still have my own identity. So that kind of threw me through a loop, that kind of like moral dilemma. And it was really important for me this past year to not use what my family was going through as for views or anything like that. That was huge for me, and it still is. But something I've really noticed as I've just shared tidbits of my own self, like my own growth and sharing, is that you guys are hungry for that. And I've noticed it with the content I've created. Anytime I've written a blog post or a post or done a video sharing a bit of my journey and kind of how I've overcame things, because I think a lot of the things that I'm sharing about and that I had to go through, a lot of people are having to deal with kind of similar emotions of facing fear and going through tough times during this global pandemic. So it's very universal. And I've enjoyed sharing that side of my journey without getting into details of anyone else's lives, anyone in my family, and still maintaining privacy. So I want to share more about that. I want to share more about what that felt like for me, how that's changed everything for me. And what I'm talking about is basically like, you know, you think your life is one thing one day, and then the next it's just turned upside down. Amanda, my friend Amanda Muse, she said something to me when she was one of the first people that knew kind of what was happening when it was all going down. And she said, sometimes, what'd she say? And it was so good. Sometimes, like, picture your life like a purse. Sometimes it just needs to be like, dump all that, you know, she'd use different words than me. If you watch her channel, you know, dump all that crap out of your purse, shake it all out, and then you just pick up and put back in what you need. And I think that can be with like the global pandemic, it can be with your career, it can be like everything, and just it's like this. So I had that kind of, I had to find myself again, and I had to feel pain I've never felt before. I've had to feel fear and then face fear and then realize that, oh my gosh, like I'm giving all of my power to fear and it can't be in the driver's seat. Like there's just so many things. I want to talk more about people showing up in my life and friendships and relationships, and like when you're like in just the hardest time of your life, there's so much beauty. Like I will, and I look back, like I've had some tough stuff before. Like my pregnancy with my twins was tough. I've had like major surgery, my thyroid removed before. It was tough, and I would never trade any of those like painful hard experiences for anything. The pandemic has completely changed who I am too. I went into my next chapter thinking I was going to be one way, and it really softened me. It softened my heart, made me realize like that I did want a next chapter with someone, and I've shared how I'm in a relationship now, and that it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't a global pandemic. So I want to kind of share that kind of thing more here. I'm going to still share about home. I'm going to still share about parenting and fashion here and there and stuff, but I think for at least the next while, especially once I share this next thing coming down the pipeline, I want this to be more of like a connection and a growth time, and not, I think we're all starving for authenticity and raw realness and connection. We're so isolated right now. So many of us, like we're all isolated. I'm so thankful that my current bubble is kind of like 7 people. That's huge. There's so many, like I live in an area, I live just outside of Toronto, and it's one of the hardest hit places in Canada, and there's a lot of lockdowns and things, and there's a lot of people who are very isolated and don't have a lot of people. And so I think we're all craving connection and advice, and like this feeling of like we're just sitting down for coffee together. That I know when I'm searching lately for videos on YouTube, that's what I'm craving. I'm craving these videos that are more like I'm connecting with a person. So I think that's kind of where I want to take this a bit. I want to really just, as things come up, share that and everything. I've shared some things on Instagram lately that I know have resonated with people. I shared the meaning behind this tattoo, which here you can see. So when I got this tattoo, there was a quote that stood out to me, and I'm gonna probably butcher it because I don't have it right on me on my phone. This is me gesturing if it was on my phone. Something about, sometimes you feel like you can't, like in hard times, that you've been buried. Maybe you've actually been planted, bloom. And so I was initially gonna get bloom here, but instead I got these flowers, and that's truly how I feel. I felt like I felt like I completely had been planted, and I've been able to grow, and I've hit this wonderful point in my life where I'm like, I kind of am just doing what is right for my kids and me, and like what feels good. And I've finally feel like I've freed myself from like worrying about keeping up with the whole like rat race and stuff, especially with this industry. I'm jumping all over the place in this video, but I promise to kind of like, for my next ones, bring it in a bit more on one topic. But I feel like I finally said to myself, like, I've just been careful, like carefully paying attention to what's resonating with people. I will never be like a big TikToker. Like, it's just not in my wheelhouse. Like, I love that other people create that kind of content. It's just not me. And I think I'll never, there's other things I'll just like, I'll never be able to like keep up with that. And I think I've just really let go of that, and just really realized that from day one, my purpose with Nesting Story has been to connect, has been to say, I just went through something. Like when I started, it was the twin pregnancy. I just went through something, and I've found my way out, and I'm better than I was when I started. And I bet someone else out there can relate to this. And so I think I like to share that. I like to share that story, and just kind of to like bring it back to that same thing. You know, Nesting Story still, no matter what zigzags it's taken over the years, it's like the perfect name. Oh, there's my toilet that like flushes on its own. Anyways, I don't know if you guys can even hear it. But Nesting Story is still the perfect name, because it's like, I shared this also on a post on Instagram, is that this home for me is like, it's everything. It's not like, it just means more to me than it ever has before. When I first found this house, it was sitting on the market and no one wanted to buy it because every wall was dark brown or navy. And I walked in and I just completely visualized this home. I brought my twins home in this house. I've now started my next chapter in this house. And it's now feels like my bunker during this pandemic. I've never been so thankful for my space and, you know, my yard and the laughter and like the happiness that this home has. So no matter what I share on Nesting Story, like home is always going to be, it's just because home for me, like I'm a homebody, and home for me is just like such a big part of who I am and what brings me joy. So that's kind of where my head is with Nesting Story and where I want to take it. And I really just want to, it's felt good lately to be sharing a bit more about what this past year's been like for me and what life is like for me now, and how I've been able to go through that and like come out stronger and happier and more confident and fearless, and like I'm glowing and I'm laughing like more than I think I've ever laughed before. So I want to share all that with you. I'm gonna have more vlogs. I'm gonna have more videos like this. I'm also gonna be throwing in those like lifestyle videos as well. But I think I just really want there to be this a lot more. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know, like, is there something specific you want me to talk about? How do you feel about content you're consuming? Are you craving that as well? I hope you would subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I would also suggest that you go find me on Instagram under Nesting Story. I'm very active on there. I gotta go. One of my kids' teachers is calling. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.